Very good afternoon to everyone. Today we are going to start with the second chapter of your unit, meaning and scope of macroeconomics. In the first chapter, we have discussed about the introductory uh, macroeconomics. What is the macroeconomics? How it came in existence? How it started after the First World War? After 1930s recession, Great Depression era, in 1936, the publication of General Theory on Interest, Employment and Money, and emergence of Keynesian economics after this publication of the book Keynes 1936. So, what was the subject matter? I have discussed that microeconomics deals with the growth, development, all these things. Now, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the scope of microeconomics. Since we have discussed already discussed the meaning of the macroeconomics, but to recapitulate and to recapture the previous lecture and to have a continuity with this lecture, we are going to have a brief capsule of the previous lecture. What is the meaning of the macroeconomics? Macroeconomics, in the previous lecture, I have also discussed what the difference between the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. Microeconomics is all about the individual unit, production of the individual unit, analysis of the individual unit, whether it is production, whether it is demand, supply, or cost, revenue analysis, or market structure. It is always discussed in the microeconomic analysis, but in the macroeconomic analysis we are discussing about the growth and development of the economy, development of the uh, uh, nation, growth of the nation, growth of the GDP, gross domestic product, per capita income, uh, inflation, unemployment, exchange rate, foreign trade, and uh, how to come out from the depression, recessionary phase, and fluctuations, means which is known as the trade cycle. So all these things are discussed in the macroeconomic analysis. So macroeconomics is all about the meaning of the macroeconomics is all about the dealing with the aggregation of any analysis, such as whether it is the growth of the economy, or growth of the or development, growth or progress in the economy. We can say the increase in the per capita income, uh, whether it is known, although it is known as the per capita income, but in it is the aggregation, since the total income is divided by the total population, so it comes from the totality of the whole economy. So it is known as the macroeconomic part, macroeconomics part. Growth of the GDP, all these things are the aggregation. So now, after the meaning of the macroeconomic analysis, we have to learn the scope of the macroeconomics. So macroeconomics is a nation's economic performance which depends on the natural and human resources, capital stock, technology, economic choices made by citizens, macroeconomic policies of the government. Here, natural and human resources are generally dealt with the natural resources. When we are talking about the gross domestic product, or gross national product, then it is the utilization of the natural resources. Means there are 5 factors of production: land, labor, capital, uh, entrepreneur, and organization. When all these factors are fully employed, or they are employed in the economy, then we can say that the use of natural and human resource is at the optimum level. In the Keynesian economics, the optimum level of utilization of the economy is known as the full employment level. Here, full employment just does not means that the persons willing to work on the given market rate uh, are getting the work, then they are called the employment. Means the basic definition of the employment is when a person is willing to work on the market given rate and he is getting the job opportunity or job, then he is called to be employed. But here the full employment definition is different from the microeconomic definition. Here the full employment level means all the resources whatever are involved in the production of the economy, in the production system, they all are, means whether it is capital, whether it is land, if there is a land is not left unused, so then whatever is used for the production of the any factors of the production, they all are uh, used and they are all employed, they are all engaged in the production system. So then it is the full employment level. Human resource, I have already told, human resource means skilled manpower, all the manpower which are willing to work in the economy for in the, they all want to be involved in the production system, they all are getting the job opportunities. Then it is the part of the macroeconomic analysis. Capital stock, I have already discussed. Technology is the part of the production system. Economic choices made by the citizens. Now economic choices means here there is a whether it is capital intensive or it is a labor intensive technique you are using, means whether you are following the capitalism or you are following the socialism or you are following the mixed economy, it is the choice of the economy which system the economies, the decision makers of the economies are um, willing to follow the economic system. So then here you have the choice. If you are following the capital economics, capitalism in the video which I have shared with you, that video I have given you the detailed when private sector is having the more role and public sector is having the less role, and the private sector is working with the motive of getting the maximum profit, then it is known as the capitalism. Socialism is the just opposite, when public sector is having the major role and private sector is having the less role, and their system is working for the social welfare with the maximum social welfare, objective of the maximum social welfare. Then it is known as the socialism. In the mixed economy, socialism, private sector and public sector both have the equal role and equal opportunity, because economic systems are uh, they adopt this economic system to develop, because they are less developed economies or they are underdeveloped economies, and there have a lot of opportunities for to be get developed. So in the mixed economic system, the private sector and public sector are having the equal opportunity for the development, and the system adopts the maximum social welfare with the maximum development. So profit is the secondary objective in the mixed economic system. So in it is the choice of the economy's citizens, or it is the choice of the economic decision makers what the system they are going to adopt, whether it is capitalism, socialism, or mixed economic system. Now coming on the macroeconomic policies of the government. Then macroeconomic policies of the government means there is a fiscal policy, there is a monetary policy, there is a trade policy, there is a SIM policy. Simple policy means export and import policy. So these are the four major policies which are decided in the macroeconomic system while deciding the growth opportunities in the economy. Fiscal policies means when we are talking about we all are talking about the taxation system of the economy, budget, uh, or whether tax should be levied on the how much tax should be levied, tax should be deducted, or tax should be omitted. What is the tax system? When we are talking all about the revenue and expenditure of the government system, revenue and expenditure of the government public sector. Public sector means on the welfare of the society. Then it is from the expenditure, government expenditure, and it all comes on the fiscal policy. Means government norms for taxation system, uh, evacuation of the taxation, imposition of the taxation, and tax structure, all these things, budget, uh, expenditure, revenue, all these things comes under the purview of the fiscal policy. Monetary policy means when the regulatory body of the money market, in the case of Indian system, RBI is the monetary regulatory body of the uh, monetary system. So RBI declares the monetary policy. Sometimes monetary policy is said to be the debt policy, or it is always said uh, uh, monetary policy is sometimes said to be the debt policy. Uh, it is talking about the control of the money, uh, expansion of the money, inflation, to control the inflation in the economy, to control the prices and increase the prices, uh, expansion of the circulation of the, to control the circulation of the money in the economic system or in the economy. Then it is all about the CRR, SLR, repo rate, reverse repo, moral suasion, open market operations. All these steps are instruments are to be used in the monetary economic policy, monetary policy, which is debt policy. Monetary policy is generally declared, fiscal policy is generally declared once in the year, but it is not compulsory that it is declared once in a year. Government may declare any time the fiscal policy. Monetary policy is generally declared quarterly. Means we have 4 quarters in the financial year. You know, our financial year starts from 1st April to 31st March. Means April, May, and June is the first quarter. July, August, and September is the second quarter. August, October, November, December is the third quarter. January and February, March is the fourth quarter. So then our monetary policy is declared quarterly in the April, May, June, means in the April, month of April, July, August, and September in the April month of July, and October, November, December in the month of October, and in the January, February, March in the month of January. So then 4 times our monetary policy is generally declared, but there is no restriction on declaring the monetary policy. There, RBI or regulatory bodies feels that uh, it is necessary to change the in the there is a requirement of change in the monetary policy, then he can declare any time monetary policy. He can change the monetary policy at any time, and he can take the step of changing the monetary policy. There is no restriction on changing the monetary policy at any time. So monetary policy is generally declared 4 times. So then trade policy is declared by the government, means uh, government authorities, which is generally it is declared by the Trade and Commerce Ministry, and it is the decision of the government uh, for the trade norms, custom duty, and all these things. Whether we are following the export strategy or we are following the import strategy, it all depends on the government system. And now coming on the EXIM policy, it is export and import policy. Forex market is also always related to this EXIM policy. Trade policy is generally sometimes known as the EXIM policy. Forex market means foreign exchange market. Foreign exchange where the transaction of two currencies are being done, means if you are taking the example, you can take dollar and Indian currency. The dollar is the example. If you are exchanging the dollar in the Indian rupees, or you are changing the Indian rupees into dollar, this is known as the forex market. Like share market, the dollar is always traded, and it is trade is done on the virtual mode also. So this is known as the forex market, and this comes under purview of forex policies, EXIM policy or trade policy. So then macroeconomic policies of the government is the scope of the macroeconomics under this purview. Fiscal policy, monetary policy, trade policy, EXIM policy is basically the scope of the macroeconomics. Macroeconomic policies, fiscal policy and monetary policy.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
सर एक क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ, please.
सर फॉरेन एक्सचेंज और फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रेट में कुछ डिफरेंस होता है?
Foreign on the rate on which you are doing the foreign exchange is the foreign exchange. Foreign exchange आप करेंगे तभी तो foreign exchange rate आएगा ना. अरे भाई, you are trading means you are doing the exchange. मान लीजिए आप आज की डेट में $1 बराबर $1 73 रुपीज 83 पैसा ऐसे कुछ है. मान लीजिए 74 रुपीज है, तो $1 74 रुपीज है, तो दिस इज द रेट. तो आप जब एक्सचेंज करेंगे तभी तो रेट आएगा ना. तो हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट, दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ द फॉरेन एक्सचेंज. अरे भाई, मार्केट और मार्केट रेट में कोई अंतर होता है क्या? मार्केट में जब आप इंटर करोगे तो जो मार्केट में प्राइसेस चल रही होंगी वही मार्केट रेट है ना?
यस सर.
क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question from anyone? Now coming on the budget deficit. The economy is always affected when there is a large budget deficit. The excess of government spending over tax collection. What is the budget deficit? First I will tell, since I am telling you the scope of the economics, where is the macroeconomics? This is the budget deficit is also a part of fiscal policy. Budget deficit means when revenue collection of the government is less than the government expenditure, means government having the more expenditure on the social welfare schemes and for the public sector development, growth of the economy. Here you can here somehow it is linked with the monetary policy, क्योंकि जब आप क्या करते हैं कि बजट डेफिसिट में sometime government takes the steps of having more expenditure than the revenue, then it comes from the printing of the money and the economy faces a problem of inflation. अब ये कैसे होता है ये आगे चल के मैं जब थर्ड यूनिट आपको इन्फ्लेशन पढ़ाऊंगा, in that unit I will clear it in detail how it happens. Then large budget deficit of the 1980s and early 90s are unusual. Borrowing from the public might divert funds from more productive use. Federal budget deficit might link to decline in the productivity growth. Borrowings from the public might divert means 1980s and 1990s when our economy was little bit backward and our economy was little bit facing the problem. And then we were having some time the budget deficit means government was willing to have more expenditure than the revenue. तो अच्छा हमें कभी करना भी पड़ता है, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि sometime we want to have the development, हम डेवलपमेंट करना चाह रहे हैं, तो क्या करते हैं कि हमारे पास रिक्वायरमेंट है डेवलपमेंट, हमें सड़क बनानी है, हमें स्कूल बनाना है, हमें मिलिट्री के लिए कोई इक्विपमेंट्स खरीदने हैं, तो देन हम क्या करते हैं कि हमारे पास अगर उतनी इनकम नहीं है तो देन वी टेक द बोरोइंग्स। हम पर्सनल लाइफ में भी यही करते हैं कि हमें कोई चीज जरूरत है, कोई चीज घर बनाना है, तो घर बनाने के लिए हमारे पास इकट्ठा पैसा नहीं है, तो हम क्या करते हैं, बैंक से लोन ले लेते हैं। या किसी और फ्रेंड से हमें मान लीजिए लैंड खरीदनी है कि हम लैंड खरीदेंगे, तो लैंड खरीदने के लिए हमारे पास इकट्ठा पैसा नहीं है तो हम लोन लेते हैं। तो दैट इज योर बजट डेफिसिट। पर्सनल लेवल पर यही बजट डेफिसिट है कि आपकी इनकम कम है लेकिन आप एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा करना चाह रहे हैं, तो यही बजट डेफिसिट है। कई बार ऐसा होता है कि महीने का खर्चा आपको जो मिला हुआ है उससे ज्यादा खर्च हो जाता है, तो कहाँ से खर्च करते हैं? अपने मित्रों से उधार लेकर के करते हैं, मित्रों से कर्ज लेते हैं, तो वही आपके बजट डेफिसिट है। जो महीने का खर्चा आपको मिला है वो आपका बजट, वो रेवेन्यू है, और जो आपने खर्च कर दिया वो आपका एक्सपेंडिचर है। और अगर खर्च ज्यादा हो गया और रेवेन्यू, घर से मिलने वाला पैसा कम है, तो देन इट इज डेफिसिट। तो यही बजट डेफिसिट है। तो बजट डेफिसिट इज आल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ द मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स। Now coming on the aggregation, macro economics always ignores distinction uh, between the individual product market and focus on national totals. The process of summarizing individual economic variables to obtain economy wide total is called aggregation. मैक्रो सम एग्रीगेशन। आप देखिए एग्रीगेशन हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि एग्रीगेशन मैक्रो इकोनॉमिस्ट क्या करते हैं कि हम इंडिविजुअल की बात नहीं करते हैं। इंडिविजुअल की बात क्यों नहीं करते हैं कि इंडिविजुअल जो है हमारा प्रोडक्ट मार्केट या नेशनल लेवल पर, since we are talking about on the national economy and we are talking about the national economic policy, तो अगर हम इंडिविजुअल के बिहाफ पर डिसीजन लेना शुरू कर देंगे देन इट कैन नॉट बी जनरलाइज्ड। मान लीजिए हम कह रहे हैं कि हमारा ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर डेवलप कर रहा है। ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर के डेवलप होने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर भी डेवलप कर रहा हो। तो इंडिविजुअल मान लीजिए अगर हम एक कंपनी कह रहे हैं कि रिलायंस जियो का डेवलपमेंट, रिलायंस जियो इज हैविंग मोर डेवलपमेंट एंड इट इज हैविंग मोर प्रॉफिट। बहुत सारे लोगों ने देखा होगा आपने पैंडेमिक की सिचुएशन में जियो में मार इन्वेस्टमेंट करने के लिए होड़ लग गई। अब इट डज नॉट मीन्स कि वोडाफोन आइडिया इज आल्सो हैविंग द सेम इन्वेस्टमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज। वोडाफोन आइडिया की स्थिति ये है कि वो इतने घाटे में जा रही है कि अगर आज उसको परमिशन मिल जाए तो वो इंडिया छोड़ने को और अपनी सर्विसेज को क्लोज करने के लिए आज तैयार बैठी है। तो इट डज a single example cannot be generalized on the whole level. अब हम अगर एक एग्जांपल ले लें कि नमन सिंह इज ए वेरी गुड स्टूडेंट, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द नमन सिंह हम कह रहे हैं कि बीए फर्स्ट ईयर ऑनर्स जो है वो बहुत ही एक्सीलेंट क्लास है। मे बी नमन सिंह इज ए वेरी गुड स्टूडेंट बट some may be mediocre, some may be good quality student, some may be little bit having problem. तो अब सबका लेवल एक जैसा नहीं हो सकता। तो on the basis of a single student can we generalize the whole class? No. So then for knowing the strength of the aggregation, aggregation का मतलब अब यही aggregation आ जाता है कि we for knowing the whole economy हमें सबका करना पड़ेगा, हमें असेसमेंट सबके इंडिविजुअल लेवल पर हम किसी डिसीजन को जनरलाइज करके पूरी इकोनॉमी लेवल पर नहीं ला सकते हैं। व्हाट मैक्रो इकोनॉमिस्ट डू? मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक फोरकास्टिंग, मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक एनालिसिस, मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक रिसर्च एंड डेटा डेवलपमेंट, दीज आर द फोर एस्पेक्ट्स व्हाट मैक्रो इकोनॉमिस्ट डू। अब हम इसको एक एक करके बात करना शुरू करें। मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक फोरकास्टिंग, macroeconomic forecasting prediction of the future economic trends has some success in the short run. In the long run too many factors are highly uncertain. जैसे आप देखिए मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक फोरकास्टिंग का मतलब क्या होता है। आपने देखा होगा कि सरकार ने अभी कल और परसों के न्यूज में आपने सुना होगा कि गवर्नमेंट इज सेइंग, CEO of नीति आयोग is also saying and many agencies of the government has predicted कि जो नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर होगा, फोर्थ क्वार्टर होगा, जो इकोनॉमी हमारी अभी ग्रोथ नेगेटिव थी, यानी -23.9% थी, वो हमारी ग्रोथ रेट अभी पॉजिटिव हो करके और वो पॉजिटिव ट्रेंड में जाएगी। तो ये प्रेडिक्शन है, दिस इज द फोरकास्टिंग। हम क्या करते हैं कि ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ लास्ट डेटा, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ लास्ट एक्चुअल डेटा, कि पिछला हमारा ग्रोथ रेट क्या रहा है, पिछला हमने एक्सपेंडिचर का क्या व्यवस्था किया है, व्हाट एवर वी हैव डन, वी प्रेडिक्ट फॉर द फ्यूचर ग्रोथ। हम अक्सर आपने सुना होगा कि नेक्स्ट ईयर हमारी ग्रोथ रेट इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर विल बी 6.5%, 5.6% और एनीथिंग, व्हाट एवर वी हैव द प्रेडिक्शन। तो ये प्रेडिक्शन कैसे होता है? दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ द मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक फोरकास्टिंग। हम प्रेडिक्ट करते हैं, हम टारगेट डिसाइड करते हैं कि दिस ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस एक्सपेंडिचर, हम जो बजट में एक्सपेंडिचर का व्यवस्था करते हैं, बजट में हम जितनी जो प्रोविजंस करते हैं, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट एक्सपेंडिचर वी प्रेडिक्ट फॉर द फ्यूचर प्रोग्रेस, फ्यूचर ग्रोथ रेट्स। तो हमारी अच्छा, फ्यूचर ग्रोथ रेट्स में हम ग्रोथ रेट को ही नहीं प्रेडिक्ट करते हैं, बल्कि हम यहाँ तक प्रेडिक्ट करते हैं कि इन्फ्लेशन रेट हाई होगा, इन्फ्लेशन रेट लो होगा, क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, ग्रोथ रेट हमारी कौन सी सेक्टर कितना डेवलप करेगा, कौन सा सेक्टर कितना ज्यादा ग्रो करेगा। ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर प्रेडिक्टेड इन द लॉन्ग रन, but in the context of the whole economy, or in the context of the economy, full economy, short run cannot be adopted. So macroeconomic forecasting is generally done on the basis of in the long run. Macroeconomic analysis, आप यहाँ पर जब forecasting करेंगे तो then we will have the analysis. हमने अभी एग्जांपल लिया आपकी क्लास का, कि on the basis of individual unit we cannot have the prediction for the whole class. हमें अगर whole class के लिए prediction करना है तो हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा कि राहुल कैसे हैं, सत्यम कैसे हैं, वैष्णवी कैसी हैं, अरीब कैसे हैं, what is the level of Arib and Vaishnavi and Rahul. Then we have the certain analysis. It may be exam analysis, it may be the marks earned by these students, or it may be, we can take any kind of parameters for the analyzing. For the growth of the economy, we take sometimes GDP, we take sometimes the currently we are using in the India GVA, gross value addition. अभी मैं आपको अगले चैप्टर में यही पढ़ाने चल रहा हूँ कि what is the GDP and how GDP is calculated, what is the national income, what is the per capita income, per capita income कैसे लेते हैं, disposable income कैसे होता है, then on the basis of the
क्वेश्चन।
हाँ, ओके, अरे
सर जीडीपी और पर कैपिटा इनकम में लाइफ स्टैंडर्ड का अच्छा ट्रू इंडिकेटर कौन होता है, जीडीपी और पर कैपिटा इनकम?
बेटा आपने थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन को मैं और एक्सपेंड कर रहा हूँ। इन द केस ऑफ जीडीपी एंड पर कैपिटा इनकम में देखिए आप ये नहीं बता सकते हैं कि व्हाट इज द रियल पिक्चर। रियल पिक्चर मीन्स आप ये नहीं बता सकते हैं कि अब देखिए, मान लीजिए अभी मैं कहूँ कि आपकी क्लास का परफॉर्मेंस है 60%, तो हो सकता है कि इसमें आरिफ ने 90% पाया हो और हो सकता है कि किसी एक ने 40% पाया हो। तो अब यहाँ पर तो वही है, पर कैपिटा इनकम में अनिल अंबानी, मुकेश अंबानी, टाटा और ये जितने भी बड़े उद्योगपति, इनका भी इनकम शामिल है। और एक जो 10,000 पाने वाला व्यक्ति है जो पर मंथ 10,000 कमा रहा है, उसका भी इनकम शामिल है। जो एक फार्मर है जो लेस देन 1 एकड़ का फार्मिंग कर रहा है, किसान है, उसकी भी इनकम शामिल है। तो टोटल इनकम ऑफ द नेशन इज डिवाइडेड बाय द टोटल पॉपुलेशन, तो it comes the per capita income. Per capita income is not the correct analysis of the real picture of the economy. GDP को में भी आप per capita, ये it is like per capita income. GDP में भी हम वही सेम चीज करते हैं कि हमने इंडस्ट्री को भी शामिल कर रखा है, पर एग्रीकल्चर भी है, सर्विस सेक्टर भी है, बड़े उद्योगपति भी है, छोटे किसान भी है। तो जीडीपी इज नॉट द पर एक्चुअल गिविंग द एक्चुअल सीन, जो आप रियल एग्जांपल कर रहे हैं, तो इट इज द रियल पर कैपिटा इनकम व्हिच कम्स आफ्टर द कैलकुलेशन ऑफ द पर्सनल डिस्पोजेबल इनकम, दैट इज द गिविंग द एक्चुअल पिक्चर, रियल पिक्चर। लेकिन आप जीडीपी को जीबीए, अभी जो हमारा कैलकुलेशन आया है, जीबीए इज द एक्चुअल लिटिल बिट उसके करीब है, लिटिल बिट नियर टू द रियल पिक्चर ऑफ द इकोनॉमी। नेक्स्ट,
Okay, thank you.
okay, now coming on the research, trying to understand the structure of the economy in general, abhi humne we all have discussed about the all these things. Economic theory, what is the economic theory is a set of ideas about the economic to be organized in the logical framework। देखिए, जो economic theories हमको पढ़ना है, जब हम डेवलपमेंट की theories की बात करते हैं, केन्सियन इकोनॉमिक्स की बात करते हैं, ISLM मॉडल अभी आपको पढ़ना होगा, ISL हेक्सर एंड ओलिन का, सॉरी हेक्सर एंड ओलिन का आप ISLM मॉडल पढ़ रहे हैं, हेक्स का ग्रोथ थ्योरी पढ़ रहे हैं, एक्सटेंशन का ट्रेड साइकिल पढ़ रहे हैं, ट्रेड थ्योरी पढ़ रहे हैं। तो दीज आर द इकोनॉमिक थ्योरी व्हिच आर डीलिंग विद द माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक इश्यूज। ग्रोथ थ्योरी में आप इनोवेशन थ्योरी है, रोस्टो का स्टेजेस ऑफ ग्रोथ है, देयर आर सो मेनी थियरीज, हेराडोमर ग्रोथ मॉडल है, there are so many growth theories which we have to study in the macroeconomic analysis, and these comes under the purview of macroeconomic analysis. Economic models are a simplified description of some aspects of the economy। जैसे इकोनॉमिक मॉडल हम कह सकते हैं कि जब स्टेजेस ऑफ ग्रोथ आप पढ़ेंगे ग्रोथ थ्योरी में, देन यू विल नो द व्हाट इज द इकोनॉमिक मॉडल, whether we are following the capitalism or socialism or the mixed economy, or we are following the having the more importance to the private sector, then it comes the economic model. Why macroeconomists disagree? A positive analysis, since we are running the time very fast, so we have a very quick review. A positive analysis examines the economic consequences of an economic policy, but it does not address its desirability. A normative analysis tries to determine whether a certain economic policy should be used. Economists can disagree on normative issue because of differences in values. We will discuss about the normative and positive analysis in the next chapter in the detail, because positive and might actually this is the part of normative science, and positive normative analysis and positive analysis is the part of microeconomic analysis. Then how it is known as how it is used in the microeconomic analysis, that will be discussed in the next chapter. So I am not going in the detail because it is the part of the next chapter, and it has to be discussed in the detail. So here I am taking only the reference of the positive and normative analysis, that you should know these two words, and we will discuss in the next chapter. Economists can disagree on normative issue because of differences in values. There is always a difference in positive value, positive analysis value and normative analysis value. So that is difference, how it comes and how these are discussed, then we have to discuss in the chapter. Economics disagree on positive issue because of different school of thoughts. There are always a school of thoughts, Keynesian thoughts, क्लासिकल, नियो क्लासिकल, हमने आपको शुरू में ही बताया था कि क्लासिकल थॉट्स हैं, नियो क्लासिकल थॉट्स हैं, कीन्सियन थॉट्स हैं, पोस्ट कीन्सियन थॉट्स हैं, मॉडर्न इकोनॉमिक थॉट्स हैं, फिर इसके बाद वेलफेयर इकोनॉमिक्स आता है, और फिर इसके बाद आता है जो 2000 के बाद शुरू होता है, जो जिसको हम 21st सेंचुरी कह रहे हैं, दैट कम्स अंडर परव्यू ऑफ 21st सेंचुरी एनालिसिस। क्लासिकल अप्रोच हमने अभी आपको बताया है, केन्सियन अप्रोच, देयर आर इवोल्यूशन ऑफ क्लासिकल एंड केन्सियन डिबेट, एंड यूनिफाइड अप्रोच टू द माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स। these are the all aspects. Micro is all about aggregation. एक समरी मैं आपको दे रहा हूँ। Macro is all about aggregation. Micro is about the individual unit. Aggregate demand and aggregate supply, GDP. Business cycle and economic growth. Brief microeconomic history of India and United States or anything for the whole world. And stabilization policy. यही आपकी पूरी macroeconomic policy है. This is all we have to discuss here. So I hope you have all got the glimpse of the scope of the macroeconomic analysis. This was all about. If you want to ask any question, please.